going on, guys? Today we've got a 2004 Chevrolet Colorado. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing as the GMC Canyon. This is a two-wheel drive model with the inline 5-cylinder. The owner is having some problems with it shutting off randomly or not starting randomly, let me say that. Another shop told him that it needed a fuel pump. I'm not sure about that, but I understand the customer's concern because this is actually their daughter's vehicle, and out of a caution we're just going to go ahead and replace the pump. This truck is a crew cab, as you can see. Any other day of the week that would be a welcome option to have, but not today, because crew cab means I have to drop the tank. I can't just simply lift the bed up. So let's dig in. All right, first thing you're going to want to do is unhook the battery. I've already done that off camera. I'm sure you guys know how to do that. The second thing you're going to want to do is find the shredder valve on the end of the fuel rail. And I don't know if you guys can see it or not with this corrugated piece of stuff in the way, but I'm going to take that cap off. So now we've got it out. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a paper towel. I'm going to pull this off so I don't break it. This goes to the fuel pressure regulator. Don't want to break that. So I'm going to stuff paper towel around this little guy here, the shredder valve. This will catch any excess fuel that comes out of the rail whenever I press that shredder valve. Alright, here we go. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. There we go. I think maybe you can see that. So let's just depress the little valve. There we go. Alright, now that that's done, the pressure on the fuel rail has been relieved, and we don't have to worry about it blowing fuel in our face whenever we disconnect some of the lines out back. And I'm going to take this paper towel and I'm going to set it outside and let it air out, get it out of the shop. Don't forget to reinstall your dust cap on the shredder valve and reconnect the vacuum hose that goes to your fuel pressure regulator. Alright, since this is the crew cab, I think I'm going to have to remove this inner fender liner to gain access to the filler neck. And it's just held on by these 4 10mm bolts. Okay, we got the bolts out. Let's see if we can't finagle this thing out of here. Alright, we're just going to rest that right there. Alright, here's our filler neck. We're going to take a 5/16 nut driver and we'll loosen up on this worm clamp. We don't have to take it all the way off, just loosen it and it'll be stuck to it since it's been on there for years and years. I've got to figure out how to get this little clippy-do off and fight with it. So give me a minute and I'll figure it out. Okay, I think I might have it figured out. These are some hose pliers, but you see how the end of them are shaped? I should be able to get in there and mash that little white tab, and hopefully that thing will come off. Yep, there we go. Came right off. Alright, now I need to get that hose off of there. Alright, grab this little tool right here and snag it in there. Alright, there we go. Now it's come loose. Okay. Alright, we're under the truck now, and it looks like this fuel filter has the same type fittings that were on the fuel filler vent neck, vent tube thing, whatever. So I'm going to use these same pliers and see if I can't pop that loose. Not so sure this time. Well, I mean, maybe. Yep, there we go. And I've got my OSHA approved Hyper Tough drain pan up under here. I'm sure my safety guy at work would love to see all this raw fuel spilling everywhere. But what is the old saying? You gotta break some eggs, make pancakes, or whatever the hell it is. Anyway, so alright, so that's the outlet of the fuel filter. So let's get the inlet. I wish you guys could see this. I know this. There we go. Here we go. That's what I'm draining it into right there. All right, now that most of the fuel is drained out, I'm going to unclip this hose from this top bracket right here. I'm not exactly sure if I needed to do that, but I mean, it looks like it, so I'm going to go ahead and do it now. This probably just goes up to the fuel pump itself, so it may not need to be done. We'll see that in just a few minutes, and there is another one up here. All right, this is the return, I believe. So let's get our handy dandy hose pliers and see if we can't get this one loose. All right, I've got it off the clip. So now let me get in there with my hand and undo it. There we go. There we go. All right, so the hoses are undone. Now we need to physically remove the tank from the truck. All right, front of the tank on the passenger side, you're going to find the 13mm bolt right here. I'm just going to use this to break it loose with. All right, and now I can take it out with a ratchet. We'll set this off to the side. All right, on the driver's side rear of the tank, right next to the frame rail, you're going to need to remove this other bolt with a 13mm head on it. Also, don't forget, at this point you've got to support the gas tank. I've got a transmission jack up under mine to hold it, so let's go ahead and take this bolt out. Oh, hope I didn't get dust in your eyes, guys. And you'll want to come over to the passenger side rear of the tank and remove this strap. Just pull it out of that little slot. Set it off to the side. Now I'm going to try to drop the tank just a little bit so I can remove that front strap. There we go. Oh, it looks like we got more hoses in the back. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm going to undo those. All right, it looks like this is just an evap hose, so no raw fuel should be coming out of this one. It does not seem to want to work that way. Okay, now it's turning a little bit. Huh. That one wants to be a booger, don't it? I know I'm probably right in your way and you can't see nothing. Come on, come loose from there. Uh-oh. Come on. Oh boy. I hate these things. All right, well, I finally got it off of there. It took me a combination of these pliers here to pinch the little white part and these separators to get the two hoses separated. And I'm sure there's some kind of GM mechanic out there screaming at their screen right now saying, "Oh, you idiot, all you got to do is squeeze this and hold that and count to 40 and hold your head right and then it'll just come right apart." But I'm sorry, I don't know that trick. So here it is. I got it loose all the same and the clip is still there. So let's move forward. Right, now let me take this front strap out. What you're going to want to do is on the driver's side of the frame rail, you're going to see where that front strap goes in. You'll need to pull down on the front of the tank while simultaneously pulling this strap out, and it could be a booger, but there it goes right there, you see it. And set it off to the side. Alright, we got the back of the tank leaned down pretty far here. I want to grab the front of the tank and try to finagle it back a little bit. We've got to get it off of this cross member here. And we are almost pushed into the rear end as it is. So hopefully I can get it loose. All right, well, it looks like there's enough slack there to let the tank down and back. So let's see if we can pull this thing back. Thankfully, they asked me last night if I wanted them to fill the tank up. And I said nope, because I was going to have to be pulling the tank. So, till we find the next thing that's holding us up, which is the wiring. Oh boy. All right. So it's pulled kind of tight up here. Okay. So I think I've got to pull this little white tab back. I think this is like a lock to keep the keep the connector from just coming right loose. So now let me grab a screwdriver so I don't stab myself with this thing. Okay. Now I believe I've got to press the black tab in from there, and it should come undone. Come on. Well, let me go ahead and take this one loose first and get it out of my way. This is the fuel level sending unit, I believe. But now I've got that out of the way. Let me get this pulled back. Come on. There we go. All right. Attempt number 40, 50. I don't know. All right. Let's see if we can't just pull her back now. It's getting hung on everything it possibly can. Alright, hey, nothing else is hooked to it. That's a surprise. I figured there'd be at least 10 or 12 more things hooked to it. Alright, got the tank down, and guess what? I've got 3 more of those clips. My favorite. Oh boy, I think I'm going to take a break first. All right, now that we got the majority of the stuff blown off there, I do want to take a second, guys, and I know I goof around about safety and stuff, but I really want to stress to you guys, don't do this job in your garage at home with all the doors closed, because you're going to get some fumes in there, and there is a high likelihood that something could spark off a fire. So just be safe. If you're going to do it in your garage at home, at least keep the garage door open so you get some ventilation, some air movement, and clear the fumes out. I'd hate to see anybody get hurt doing this job. It's a real danger for all these gasoline fumes to light off, inadvertently. So just play it safe, guys, please. All right, I've got most of the stuff blown away. A lot of stuff is just caked on there pretty good, but I'm going to show you a little trick. You need to have a brass punch, that way, or an aluminum one, that way you don't create a spark whenever you're hammering on this retaining ring. But at first, you don't want to take the retaining ring all the way off, okay? Just take this and hammer it loose a little bit, and what that's going to do is it's going to jostle a lot of this caked on stuff up, and then you'll be able to blow it off a lot easier, and there'll be a lot less danger of it falling down in the tank. Being real careful with that steel to not create a spark. Oh, those come off nice and easy. Well, that one did anyway. Come on. Come on. You always got to be that one. There we go. Pop that out of the tank. There we go. Pull it right off. And there we go. Got the ring off. And here is our pump. Trying to be careful not to knock any more dirt in there than I have to. Get my OSHA approved gasoline tray out again. You're going to need to, because there's this white part on the pump is a reservoir, and it holds fuel. Just like that. We'll set this outside, and we'll take our old seal off. I wanted to look down inside the tank to make sure nothing's down in there, but I'll tell you what, it looks clean in there. I don't see anything. No trash, no debris, no nothing. I mean, there's a few small, tiny specks of stuff in there, but that's not even enough to worry about cleaning out, to be honest with you. That's good. Our new seal in the little pocket there. And I'm going to make sure that we're going to align there's a little alignment tang on the fuel pump itself, and it goes into a spot right here on the tank. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it's right there where I'm pointing my finger. Let me get my light and show it. Right there. Hope you guys can see that. But this part on the fuel pump fits in that slot. So let me put my seal back on and slip the fuel level float back inside first. Now we will put, now if it feels like the pump's not going all the way down, it's because that fuel reservoir down there is spring loaded, so you'll have to push this down and make sure, there we go. See, now it fits in that little slot. Did not come with a new ring, even though this is a genuine GM part, or a genuine Delco part, this MU1385. I hope you guys can see that. We figured, you know, might as well go back with the OEM unit. And we're going to get the locking ring sort of kind of halfway started by hand, and want to make sure that you can't turn the fuel pump when you get this locking ring started. Alright, that is where it should be. Alright guys, while I've got the tank down, let's see if we can't get this fuel filter off and replace it. There we go. That's fairly easy. I'll put this in my OSHA approved drain pan. Oh my gosh. Guys, look at this. That is some serious filth coming out of that thing. Alright, let's slip our new filter in. You want to see it says out here, so we need to go in this way till it clicks into the bracket there. Alright, cool. And now we're going to put our hoses back on. And by the way, that reminds me, that Ludacris song, why would you want your hoses in different area codes? It seems like that would, you know, make it pretty inconvenient to fix anything. Hey, you do you, I guess. And we will reconnect our hose again. All right, that one. Now going on, I love these things because they're so easy. They just click right on. That one's on. Clicked into place. We have our hoses connected. We have our lock ring on. Fuel pump in. Yes, thankfully that's the old one. Thought I'd done screwed up there, but anyway, I guess let's go ahead and get the tank up and hook everything back up, and hopefully this thing will be fixed. Alright guys, last thing, well, next to the last thing anyway, we're going to reconnect our battery, then we're going to check for leaks. Hopefully we don't have any, because I really don't want to take this thing back apart again. All right. Now I'll have to prime the system a couple times to get the fuel lines refilled with fuel, but hopefully it'll start after that with no leaks. Okay guys, I'm going to turn the ignition on, listen for the fuel pump, and smell for fuel. All right, the pump came on. Let's do it again. It didn't cycle a second time. Let me check up under it and make sure there's no leaks. Awesome. I don't see or hear anything or smell it. So let's see if she'll start up. Yep, there she goes. Fires right up. All right guys, so I'm just gonna make another search around the vehicle, make sure we don't have any leaks, and if we don't, then this job's done. And if I can do it, I know you guys can do it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.